Hey everybody, Carter Ruthwish, aka the Cardinal Cowboy. You can see behind me just a few of the interviews, snapshots from the interviews we've done. This has really taken off. A couple key things we need to talk about here. It is great to be on television. You know you're going to get a lot of attention, but the key to this is what do you do after the interview? And many people, they don't know what to do. So we've outlined a number of steps for you. We're going to share with you some systemized ways you can do this. And we've partnered up with a company. It's a longtime business partner of mine, Marlon Phillips. I've been working with we figured out almost 30 years now, and maybe over 30 years. I was in my 20s, early 20s. And we started talking about this stuff. I worked at Anheuser-Busch for a long time and became buddies. And now after all the excitement, we finally re-partnered. I said, look, man, so many people are coming on the show, and they love the content, and a lot of them are doing very well with it, but a lot don't understand everything they should be doing to really get the most benefit out of this, to really generate some sales and some revenue and some pay the bills and take care of the family. So with that, we're going to share with you our presentation that I've just put together to help people really get into this so they can do what it is necessary to pay the bills and help the family, get everybody in order here so we can be successful and prosperous. So with that, let's share our screen. And there it is. So you should see me up in the corner there. This is our website. I'm just doing screenshots of it because it's hard to do a scrolling thing through a presentation where we're actually on as a PowerPoint. But there it is. The header of our website. Our show airs on ABC here in St. Louis, and you can see just some of the examples of the guests we've had on the show. And look down through our website. This is called yourlittlecastle.com. Go there and check it out. And you see all the exciting interviews we've had with now over 100 interviews, and we could just keep on going with people that have been on for a half-hour interview. Only a couple of those were not a half hour, usually 15 minutes. And like one or two, we did some short segments. And one show, I think we did a series of short segments just to kind of give some exposure to some smaller businesses. But the real power behind this thing is what you do after the interview is over. What are you going to do with it? Well, this is where Clicks Pro has come in. It's clicks.pro. Check them out. We've partnered with them. We've got a special program going with them to help our business, our clients, to be successful business. It's your business automated using AI ahead of the rest. So a little background on myself. A lot of people are familiar with what I do, but for those who aren't, I've had dozens of millions of views on the stuff I put out on social media and on the internet, and been on television and now my TV shows and all that stuff we've had. But a top 25 market is what St. Louis is, and I've been the #1 sales guy for 3 companies. This is all after, and actually 5 altogether, national companies I've worked for as a #1, #2, #5 sales guy in the entire company. A couple times #1 in the entire company. But I have a technical background that allows me to actually understand the technology, how it actually works. And so you can see it comes from what I started off with, and I started answering phones in Anheuser-Busch when I was, I think, 24 still. I just graduated with my master's degree. This is all after coming through a coma, and most people know the story, but I'm driven. Here to make a difference, and my parents are both educators, teachers. My dad's gone up to the next level now, but my mom here been teaching. She still teaches drama at Afton High School. She was John Goodman's drama teacher. A lot of people know that by now. He gives her a lot of credit for what she's done. But I love helping people too. But my background, you can see there from Anheuser-Busch. I started off answering phones, helping people send an email, forward an email, attach a file to their email. And I said, hey, I've built a server in my parents' basement. I'd like to be part of the operations team. They said, well, we'll give you a chance. Fast forward 2.5 years later, I'm running the corporate email systems for Anheuser. Built them from scratch, did all that stuff. So that's will help you understand why I have such a technical background to make this thing efficient and effective and help people understand it. And what I have a big advantage over all these sales reps who don't really understand what they're selling because they don't understand the technology. But the sales funnel that is true for any business is kind of outlined here. Your local business sales funnel. First, you must create some kind of awareness, right? People need to be aware of what you're offering. And that's the single most critical component to getting things started. You can have the best website, you can have the best product in the world, but we all seen it where some product was not as well marketed, therefore it failed. When something else came around, it was not as good, but it was marketed. We want the smaller businesses out there to put out their awesome product and take what they do well and make sure that they get the attention they deserve. So then after awareness, you've got the interest, obviously. So somebody became aware, now they become interested in it, and how do they find out information? They do so by researching and digging in a little bit. Then it falls under consideration, and they say, hey, I'm interested. They opt in to get some more information from you. They begin to evaluate, #4. And then #5, the decision is made. They're going to really start to dig in and really figure out who it is they're going to purchase from. #6 is the purchase. And that's one of the most critical steps. Obviously, they're ready to do that. How do they make that decision? How do they make the purchase? A number of ways that is done now. as well. And then hopefully you will find a referral or a repurchase or repeat business from your client that you earned by following these steps. So with that, we're going to talk about the single most important rule in marketing. A lot of people call this the marketing golden rule. It's the rule of 7. And a lot of people now are familiar with this, but somehow people kind of overlook it seems, because they put something out just once here and a little bit there. But you've seen all the big companies, they know this rule and they follow it. And that's where we're bringing the opportunity for smaller businesses to adapt to this rule. They can take advantage of this technology that we know is out there to produce television shows at a much more streamlined cost, because I know what the other guys do. I know how they process their shows, and it's just a lot of overhead. I'm a computer nerd. I've cut out major processes. A lot of people know the story. One of my good friends, Paul Brown, he had a show he was on ABC for a long time. He was on KMOX for a long time, came in and sat in my studio, and he says, Carter, you're doing the job here of like 12 people. But I'm a computer nerd. I know how to systematize things. And we've done that for the show. So then you get this incredible content so you can follow rule 7. That is, people need to see what you're talking about 7 times. They got to have some interaction with you to become familiar, to become comfortable with making a purchase with somebody. You see somebody once, yeah, so what was that, right? Oh, it was kind of interesting. Let's see it again. Repetition is key. The rule of 7. It's an old rule, been around since the 1930s. Here's the actual rule. The rule of 7 states that a prospect needs to hear the advertiser's message at least 7 times before they can take action to buy that product or service. The marketing rule of 7 is a marketing maxim developed by the movie industry in the 1930s, and is so true and vital to the success of any business. So many businesses, I love them. They do such great work, but they don't follow the system to put the stuff out there. So Clicks Pro really makes this easy for you, because they've developed a system where you can hire somebody and you can pay somebody to do this, or you can do it yourself with an AI system, or combination of those two, where instead of having a full-time employee or paying somebody a whole lot of money, these systems make it so simple. You need to have a system like this. I don't care who you use. All the research we've done, this is who we've partnered up with, because it does such more advanced stuff than just about anything else you'll find out there. But the number one most important thing first, step number 1, schedule your posts. You need to put these things down on a consistent level all the time so people can see them, because they get blocked by Facebook. They only show it to 20% of your audience. A lot of people argue, some people say less. I can show you the numbers. Mine ranges from 7% to 30%, but never more than that, really, that will see the post. If it's a viral post, people are getting more attention with it. Facebook will show it to more people because it's keeping you on Facebook, where they have all their advertising, right? Then 2, you need to target your demographic. Sometimes that's based on who it is you have as part of your audience, and that's your organic audience. Other times you're paying just a little bit. We show people how to pay very little, if not almost nothing. Go the organic route as much as you can, but periodically put out a post. You can see here, first post we've got is $30 we spent. We got 3,000 people to see that, and a target audience that we wanted to see it. 3rd, you need to send them somewhere. When you've gained their attention, they click, they go to the link. Where do they go? Websites, not always a good idea. Not a full-blown conventional website. You need to have what's called a funnel page. And this is because they're very more detailed and articulate and make it very specific. A consumed buyer never buys, right? You don't want them to be a tire kicker. You want them to be an actual buyer. And funnel pages make this very concise and to the point and make it easy. We're going to talk a little bit about that here in a second. Then they need to go into a system. They've submitted, they said, we're interested. Here's our information. Send us more information. They're going to fall into a number of different categories, depending on how they qualify themselves, depending on what happens on the follow-up. And so the AI marketing automation will help automate all of that to make this systematic. So you don't have to sort it out yourself. You don't have to figure out things that you couldn't even determine, but AI and technology can help you to do that. That's step 4, which leads to step 5. So then it goes out with a corresponding follow-up campaign saying, hey, they qualified this way. They're looking for this. They're not interested. They're not interested. They need some nurturing. They fall into different categories. And then 5 says, hey, here's the follow-ups necessary depending on where they're at. And this is all automated, built into the system that ClickFunnels, Clicks Pro has here. And I said ClickFunnels because ClickFunnels is one of the best funnel pages you'll see that we talked about earlier. But we got a much better solution. It's far less expensive too. Obviously, it's included with what we're doing here. We're talking about, but step 5, follow-up campaigns, and 6, so that you send them somewhere. Maybe it's another funnel page, but then will allow them to take your calendar that in the past, before we were using systems like this and built our own system like this. This is what my calendar looked like. Now my calendar looks like this, and even giving myself a couple of days off there because I can block out when I don't want. These leads are very highly qualified too, so you can see where they fit, and I put them on my calendar accordingly. It can be all automated for you too. I can selectively not accept the meeting. I can ask for more meetings. It's all built into the system so that you can get calendar events set to close deals, and then also actually close deals. There's credit card processing built into the system. Stripe, by now most people know, by far one of the most popular in the world, and does an incredible job. You can see that's an actual screenshot of a little time frame we had when we're just getting started, and you see very effective to have those kind of checks coming in, those credit card payments coming in a very systematic fashion. It's a nice way to get paid. So let's go over these steps in more depth. Number one, this is how you schedule. Notice this is one post. It's set up the same post multiple times. This comes, it's going to multiple locations. It's nice to just put it on your Facebook, but you should put it on your Twitter, your Instagram, your TikTok, Snapchat, your LinkedIn, and in the social media groups you can post into also if you have that set up correctly. And all of that then can be automated and systemized and put up in a quick fashion, so you're not spending your time trying to go to all these places. It'll go out for you automatic. So that's the first step one. We're going back to review the steps. Step one, this is key, and getting this scheduled and set up for yourself, and the software does this for you. Step two then is back to the targeted demographic. Who do you want to see this, right? That can be very well detailed depending on what kind of audience you want. Where do you want them to be located? What kind of average income do you want them? What kind of education do you want them to have? What kind of background do they have? What kind of hobbies and interests do they have? All of that can be targeted demographically through social media, so that you know not to spend $5,000. You can spend $30 and figure out, or 18 or 2. On our boosted post here, you can see we spent $30. It generated 116 clicks. I've done pay-per-click forever. We're going on we're well into our second decade of doing pay-per-click campaigns. But pay-per-click campaigns are anywhere from $1, $2, $5, and more like $15, $20, $50 per click. Social media changes the game for that. You can see here, that's an average of 26 cents per click. And I didn't have to spend $3,000 to figure that out. You can target this and do it appropriately with smaller budgets. Then once you figured it out, expand the budget. So probably the most critical component we talked about earlier is, where do you send them? If you send them to a website, you are doomed to failure. That's just a statistical fact. A lot of your websites now are changing their design to be more of what's called a funnel page, but the funnel pages have just taken over, for those who know what they're talking about, a 6 times conversion rate versus a website. Conversion from what? From visit to lead, right? How many visits do you want? Why would you send somebody to a website, to a place where you haven't optimized? You're driving business to a site that doesn't convert. So let's spend more money. Let's buy more leads, more traffic to our website to hopefully generate more leads. But the conversion rate is low. Why would you do that? First, let's do everything we can to optimize that page. That's why it's effective to have a great looking video on the place where you send them, because when they see you just got an interview on ABC, are you kidding me? I can show you the numbers. They get 10 to 30 more views than any other kind of video out there. Even drone videos we've seen people put out there. Great stuff, but you've got to get something that compels them to stay attracted to the page and not bounce. Your bounce rate is huge, very important factor. But if you can convert this, your conversion rate is the number of conversions, the leads or sales you achieve divided by the total number of visits, multiplied by 100 to get a percentage. So you convert 4%, 6%. At the bottom here, it gives you an example. If you had 40 sales from 1,000 visits, then your conversion rate was 4 out of 100, right? Easy ratio there. That's an easy stat. You can see where we got that information for, but makes sense. But so many people, they spend more time just buying more traffic and spending more money to drive people to some place to make a decision, except that place doesn't convert. If you double that number, then you get twice as many leads for the same amount of money. Even if you add only 5%, just imagine the numbers. That's so important and so critical. But then it goes into the system. What happens at that point? We talked about this. Is it a potential affiliate nurturer? Is it a no-show nurture? Is it somebody who's not ready? Is somebody needs to book right away and they've requested a reply? Is it somebody who already scheduled but they need a reminder? Is it somebody who was is it just a cold name or contact that you had that you put into the system from a resource that you had in your past, a spreadsheet or whatever? Or is it a free audit nurture, if you will? So that you're going to, and we use this specific tactic to say, hey, let us take a review of what you've got going on so we can help you. And that is true for anything, any kind of business. When you go visit with somebody to talk to them about their windows, you're really doing an audit of their windows to say, oh yeah, these windows need to be replaced, these ones don't. And you just name your business, and that's really, and all of those different platforms, all those different marketing automations should be set up. So then what happens? Well, step number 5, they say, okay, let's book. Let's do a free marketing audit funnel. let's get on TV. These are specific campaigns we've already started and are starting to use here. And then potential affiliate funnel for somebody that might want to partner with you, or somebody that becomes a business referral. Like we've just done recently with one of our clients. They had somebody that build metal houses, and they said, hey, but they need a garage for the metal houses, right? These kinds of relationships get developed through this kind of stuff, and then can turn into a lot of sales. So very important to make sure that you're targeting people with the right follow-up, so they are getting the information that they're looking for, not just another, hey, here's some more information about our company that they probably already know, that they're bored with, and doesn't compel them to feel like they're getting the information they need. Finally, then what happens? They go to a funnel page, they find the information that they need. They say, all right, let's schedule. This is what my calendar literally looked like back in November, before we launched this thing in February of 2022. 23. I'm sorry. That's just 22. This is before we really integrated the system. We were going at this point. We didn't integrate. We had the TV show going. That was about it. And I realized people needed to figure out how to do everything. So we said, let's build our own system and do this. But look at our calendar, then followed up in June. This is what my calendar looks like, using a system like we're talking about here, putting things in place so that the automation can happen, things can get scheduled, and I don't have to chase people down. Time is valuable, right? I can block out times, as you can see here, and then an even more busy schedule here, but also blocking out times that I don't want to be able to be bothered, and take the time to schedule, and also very highly qualified leads so that I can pick and choose who I meet with as well. And then finally, closing deals. They can pay right through the portal. The invoice software that's included allows them to click the link and make the payment right there. Very important, so that you can convert more. People say, hey, if I don't know how to pay you, you're going to make it hard for me. Then I just get lost in it. You forget where it went, and then they go off, oh, who was that? And they go find somebody else. Critical to what you need to do to make sure you're successful. This is a graph I put together, many hours spent on this, but this essentially details each component built into this thing and what the time you would spend or the cost you would spend buying these things separately, and then setting them up. And that's why you have a goods versus labor. Both of those are costs you're going to have, and how much time is going to be spent. If you're only going $20 an hour out of your time or somebody's time that you're going to pay, that's still of value to you. See, when you add those together, we're only saying an hour on the scheduling component. We're only saying an hour on estimates, an hour on invoices. But if you could save all that time because you're not manually doing those processes, those are all taken care of by the artificial intelligence, the automation built into ClicksPros, then you can see an increase in your sales. We're not talking about dramatic increases here. We're talking about 4%, 0.25%, 1%, 5%, 1.5%, 1%, 6%, 1.25%, and then just one extra sale from somebody that saw the video, one extra sale, somebody saw the post video, somebody who followed up with a coupon. All that is built into the system. It can be automated so that you can just increase your, so if in this scenario, based on the numbers here, we're saying 500 contacts in your CRM, in your list of contacts, your software or a spreadsheet, some people have those. If you only have 500, look at the numbers here. We're not talking about outrageous numbers. But at the end of the month, you're looking at an increase of 19 additional sales. And if your business makes a $3,000 profit, we're using a ballpark number there because most of the clients we're talking to, and this is good for any business, even small, because their conversion will be higher, their frequency will be more. But if it was a larger sale and you're making $3,000, look at the math. 19.8 times 3,000 is 59,000. That's an extra $712,000 a year for the software. In this case, this software for this package costs $397 a month. Yes, there's cheaper stuff out there. Yes, there's other ways you can cut corners, but there's a lot of people who try to do this all manually, and none of it includes all of what is included here. And then, so what your overall cost, it costs you $4,764 over the entire year, but helped you to generate a net profit of $708,000 in this illustration. What if it was only 25% of that? Would it be worth it? You know, your time is worth money. That's where this really becomes critical and important to understand. So with that, follow up with us. ClicksPro acquire customers on autopilot. Call or text. That number may change, but that is my direct Google number that goes right to my cell phone number, and it then does it get distributed within our organization to a couple of the people I'm working with that are helping me, my assistants and coworkers, and people are just doing a great job. Or fill out the form on our website. You can find that information out there on yourlittlecastle.com. And one minor update here. I did snag this picture, but yes, I was the #1 guy in the entire company. So with that, you can see the numbers there, kind of crazy, exciting. And that was of about 884 sales reps at that time. The next year, the merger got finished with the other guys, and I ended up being the #1 guy for the automation software they had for the entire company again. So get a hold of us. Let us know what you need. And please don't waste your time trying to do these things in an old fashioned way. I know it's hard to change, but it's worth it. And it's a little bit of extra work to get these things set up for a whole lot of time and energy and money saved later. So get a hold of me. Again, Carter Rethwish, aka the Cardinal Cowboy. And I even found my old Anheuser-Busch business cards. The box is empty, but this is the box they gave me these cards in. Get a hold of me. I'd love to help you too. All right, everybody. Thanks. Giddy up.